Do you want to do surnames or just Chris?
I have no problem with it at all.
Chris Matthews, I've known you since 1985 from debauched holidays in Greece.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And yes, very debauched holidays, but great fun. And
so how did you two meet?
In Lindos.
Along a
You
sandy
met
beach.
in Lindos?
In Rhodes.
Okay.
He was walking one way, I was walking the other.
Hey. And now you're an item.
I saw him
And
play.
it's beautiful.
He was framed in a window with this
sunlight.
with a Swedish girl playing backgammon.
Oh, there you go.
Were you?
Jeez, those were the days.
Does your wife know about this?
It wasn't. No.
Yes. Reader, I married him. Her. Yes.
Simon Mattacks.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You're an actor, first and foremost, would you say?
No.
Would you say that you're a voiceover artist of some esteem, first and foremost?
Yes.
A musician?
I don't know about some esteem. No, not a musician, not really. I mean, I kind of, yeah.
But you've written songs. I know you've written songs.
How do you know I've written songs?
Chris told me.
Did I? Oh, no, yes, that's right, we did, didn't we?
We did.
Well, you wrote it, to be fair.
Oh, but you put it together, which was
I
being
put
fair.
it together.
We must revisit that.
It made us both an awful lot of money.
An
actually.
awful lot.
It was fantastic.
Is it a football number one?
Because no, it was a football number one, and now we both live in the south of France.
At weekends.
At weekends, yeah.
Were you gunning for that kind of Christmas number one kind of vibe? Were you thinking that if we strike gold with this particular football song, then we would never have to work again? Was that the idea?
I think that's partly the plan.
I think probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all sort of like shun the stardom and say, well, it was just part of my creative vibe. I had to get rid of it. I had to get it out of myself. But yeah, if someone had paid me millions for it, we'd have grabbed it, wouldn't we?
And they didn't, though, did they?
Strangely enough.
No, they didn't.
Even though I
actually
did a
pay us
fantastic video for it as well.
You did. You did.
Cut from all sorts of Muppet movies and yeah.
It was, and what was the tune? It wasn't a tune that I wrote, to be honest. It was
the band, The Night They Drove Dixie Down,
and the title of the song was
the World Cup High, the night. Yeah, it was.
Anyway, moving on. It was great.
And I suppose, but Frank's...
the night they held the World Cup high.
That's it.
That was it.
That's why.
You see?
That's why
Can you sing a
the
bit?
main man.
The night they
held
was that
the
too
World
high?
Cup high.
It's too high for
And
me.
all the people
We're
were singing.
na 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 na.
We didn't write the na 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 bit. That was already in the.
That was
song.
already in there. But
Yeah.
I think the way that we played it made it real.
Oh, I think so.
Anyway, you'll all be hearing it next year once we've won the championship. Because
Yeah.
obviously
But I suppose
it's all about timing.
The alternate kind of reality or fate line for that is that you could have been now, you'd be sitting down by the bridge having a coffee, and people just wonder why you never do anything, why you never work, and you could just say, "Oh, I wrote that football song."
I wrote World Cup high.
To be fair, they all.
And they go,
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
"Yeah, that's them."
Yeah, I did.
To be fair, people do look at me now when I'm in, Five the Bridge or the Dish, and
Wondering why you're not working.
Why is he not working?
Yeah.
Mostly members of my family.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear. Simon, I've got to touch on this. I've got to get this out of the way. But you've done your voice has been around a bit, hasn't it? You've done some. You've done some pretty.
I've done some stuff.
You
Yes,
have?
Yes, sir, I have. Stuff I'm not proud of, but I've done some stuff. Yes, I've done some. Yes, I've done. Yeah, yes, I've been doing voiceovers for way longer than I care to.
Are there taglines that you could just kind of to do that where people go, "Oh yes,
Oh yeah. I did all of the Listerine voiceovers for a long time. The Exploding Cheeks was very much my oeuvre.
Can you remember any of it?
So, they always ended with, "There's no deeper clean than Listerine."
I'm there.
You see?
Yeah.
And it was a marvelous thing, and that went on for a while. And in fact, then they did they changed the adverts because they used to have these kind of weird figures, sort of that came in and went into your mouth and cleaned your teeth somehow. Anyway, and they changed the ads because they decided to do this thing of what does your mouth go through in a day, which they struggled with. In the kind of focus groups, because a lot of people were like, well, I'll tell you what my mouth goes through in a day, love. So anyways, they obviously had to come up with a sort of clean version. And I did a lot of the storyboards for that, and finally went in and recorded the ad. They said, it's great, we've got it, it's going to be made, and, fantastic. So, and it came on, and I watched it. I was with my kids, and I went, oh, look, there's my new ad. Oh, okay, that's not my voice.
No.
Yes.
They voice-overed a voiceover.
They double recorded. They double booked.
They went with a younger voice.
What scar?
Can you believe that?
They didn't use a woman, did they?
No, they didn't go that far. I mean, obviously.
Wow.
No, yeah. So
When was that?
I don't know. A few years ago now. 3, 4, 5 years ago.
When you were young.
When I was relatively young, anyway.
That's why it hurts so much.
It does, but it happens a lot. It does happen a lot.
It?
Yeah. Yeah, I teach voiceovers now, and I would say to my students, just make sure don't spend the usage money, the repeat money, until you've heard it go out with your voice on it, because it does happen more often than you'd imagine.
Wow.
And they don't tell you, of course. They don't ring you up and go, "Sorry, Simon, we went in another direction." They don't do that.
I guess it's just a matter when they play it to the client, isn't it? And the client suddenly goes, "Have
you got
it's
anything
not
a bit-
quite. It sounds like my mother. I don't like it."
I sound like a lot of people's mother. It's weird. I don't know why.
What was the sexiest one you ever did? When you have to deploy the full gravity of your
Sexier than Listerine.
Sexier than Listerine in the mouthwash? Surely not.
You ever done any cars?
No, I've never done a car. No, I was big in oral health for a while. I did Listerine. I did Colgate.
Remember Colgate?
Who doesn't remember?
Did you do something recently? Vonage.
I did do Vonage. That was a little while ago.
Sorry, excuse my ignorance. What's Vonage?
I don't know. I think it's a phone system, isn't it?
Is it next to Swanage?
It's the something. Yes. Yes,
it's a neighbouring town.
Just past the Swanage turnoff. I don't know. It's a business phones. I don't even know what it is. Isn't that terrible? You just read the words. You don't know what it is.
What about airlines? Have you done airlines?
Yes, used to do Flybe a lot, very regular. That was a nice little gig, and that was always very, very up, very Flybe for only $2.99 you can fly to Australia.
See, they'd never have got rid of that voice. That's perfect Flybe.
Lot of that for Flybe. In fact, the last one I did, see, it's all kind of going off like that. It's all tailing off now. Because of my age, because I'm.
Oh really?
What does that?
I'm 93 now, so which is I know.
Yeah, but you've got the voice of a 30-year-old.
I know. I keep fit though. So the last one I did was Voltarol, the joy of movement. So that's bad backs.
Oh right, not bowel movement.
No,
that's another thing. Isn't it?
That's the joy of.
My dad has found the joy of
Senecot. I think that's Senecot, isn't it?
Have you ever done Tenor Man?
For those moments when you just want to be sure that you're safe from leakage. Tenor Man. No, I haven't. I haven't done that. But I'm looking forward to it. I think that's about all that's left.
Sounds like a sign on
Tenor Man, colostomy bags, and then old people's homes. I think I'm hoping to corner the market in that, really.
Well, my dad uses Voltarol now.
Does he?
So you've got
because
his
of
vote,
me.
and he's 90, and that's just because of your voice, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
I should put that in.
Do you reckon you could do a voiceover if you tried?
Yeah, but I could always do a voiceover. Whether anyone would ever want to use it is another thing.
Oh, you got a good voice.
There you go. He's got a good. See, he loves.
Oh, yeah, he's got,
It's very, very.
Could you do commentating on rugby?
I could, but the eyesight's not as good, so I'd really have to get a proper crib sheet, and then I'd have to really see the numbers on the backs of them shirt jerseys, because it'd be terribly embarrassing if you got that wrong.
The eyesight thing's terrible, and I mean, I'm with you. I do a lot of audiobooks now, and it's a real struggle sometimes because you're having to read for hours at a time, darling, out loud. It's very tiring.
You do the voices for the audiobooks?
I do.
Oh, fantastic! I must listen to you all the time.
Well, on Audible.
So that must be quite a demand, actually. If you're acting your way through characters,
it's absolutely exhausting.
Do you ever kind of drop the wrong voice in for the wrong character?
Yes.
And they go, oh yes.
And also, what you're supposed to do, of course, is read the book in advance. And on the odd occasion, I've not done that. And there was one a couple of years ago where I was, it was set in, I don't know, the 15th century or something. It was a dreadful book. And there was a French king. So of course I give him a small French accent, because, and then about 3/4 of the way through the book, 2 courtiers said, "It is amazing that the king has no trace of a French accent." And you're like, oh shit. So I then had to go back.
How
through
many
the
chapters
book.
in were
I
you?
know. So I was a long way in. I had to go back and redo all his bits. So that'll teach me. So I always read the book now.
Do you often get the Pakistani Welsh character in the?
That's not so much of a problem because of course you can't really do the kind of Pakistani voice. That's not very cool as a
Probably
as a
not
white
PC
actor.
at the moment.
No,
no.
it's not. It's not very good to do that.
But that is my Welsh accent. So if I'm trying to go there, it's always the Indian.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Accents are great, aren't they?
accents are great.
They are really they make the world go round.
They do. They do.
Absolutely do.
I love accents. But
He's
of course,
good at them.
I mean, yes, I could. I mean, I can do accents, but some people who listen to audiobooks really hate it. I mean, really hate you doing them. They just want you to be much more neutral, So if I see an Irish accent or something, I'm like, oh, that's great. So I'm giving it all that, and they kind of don't like it always,
No, because it may be not their image of who the character is.
Exactly.
And so if you give it the blank, sort of like.
Also, I suppose the voice in your head when you're reading
Yes,
doesn't do that.
No, doesn't do that. No, that's true.
It
But
just,
it doesn't come in and go, diddly, 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 diddly.
hello there. Yes, you don't do that. So it's a bonus. I suppose that's the medium, isn't it? You get a bit of extra. It's not just like having it read to you by your
mum.
your mum or your dad
mum.
or your nan or whatever.
No.
But it's
that is the sort of idea, but as I say, not everybody likes it. I mean, but I'm afraid I do like doing it. So the one I've just read was set in Wales. Actually, it was called On the Black Hill, which was great. It's about a set of twins growing up on this remote farm, but there was a sprinkling of rather nice characters in it. So there was a South African guy who's said was very good to do that in the middle of the whole, but all the Welsh. And the trouble is, I can do a couple of Welsh accents, but I can't do 15 different Welsh accents. So that there was kind of like when you get Jones the butcher, and he's coming in with his 2 lines, you do get a bit.
The fat controller.
The full undermilk wood.
Yes, exactly. It was a little bit. So I apologise in advance for anybody who might listen to that.
I guarantee my wife Sarah has listened to all of yours because she actually it's an audible book every single night of the week.
Does she?
Yeah, so it gets her off to sleep.
Women do say that about me. Actually, that's Simon. He will get me off to sleep.
Well, no, but they always, she would always in the past read a book, but now we've gone past that, with Kindle, then your iPhone and everything. It's just so simple now to just have a story.
They're hugely popular. People love them.
I developed a bit of a love for kids' books.
Should you be saying this?
when I was reading to my son?
Ah, yes.
And because I'd never read a kid's book up to that point, not even as a kid. So I'm
glad you put that in there that you were reading it for your son.
Yeah, but I used to just love reading these things to him because they were so well written. They're some of them are.
Would you do funny voices?
I did actually.
And did he like the funny voices?
I can't remember. I have to ask him.
Well, can you do one for us so we can see if it was funny?
No. But
could you do the Gruffalo?
If there was a king? No, this was Beyond the Deep Woods. Have you ever?
The Deep Woods.
It's about a character called Twig, and it's in this sort of fantasy world called the Edge, where there's rocks that float on chains. It's an amazing amazing world, and it's Patrick Stewart and there's an amazing illustrator, which his name anyway, Chris Riddell, fabulous illustrator, and the books were just a complete flight of fantasy, fabulous. And I would always be tempted to drop a king in if there was a king in it, because they're easy, aren't they? Kings?
Yeah.
Oh, kings. Yeah.
Nice big bolstered voice.
Yeah.
Or if they're a really ruthless king, you can really frighten your kids with that. Going to kill you.
So you've done the voices for reading out loud.
All the time.
But do the kids like? You see, I would do it, and then very often my kids would go, "Just read it properly, Dad. Just read it properly.
Yeah.
Don't keep doing the
Or
voices.
that's not how Mummy read it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
You go, well,
all right. Well,
you
good for
know,
Mummy. You know.
trained actress.
Was she?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I used to say it anyway. Always keep them guessing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they never actually know who their mum is. Then.
No. Well.
I was thinking that I was watching a couple of American podcasts because obviously YouTube is dominated by American content, isn't it? Absolutely full. And I thought it'd be quite funny if we did an American one. Like one day, just come in and obviously I wouldn't do it, but people that are capable of doing American accents and just do the whole thing in American.
Yeah, or get it overdubbed.
Because it would make you say different things because they're very
Sure.
You know, you would be super stoked to be here. You wouldn't
would
just
be
be you wouldn't just be going.
And I would be whooping.
very nice.
I? I'd be
nice
breaking
of you,
out into whoops every now and again. Yeah, that's true. But don't forget, quantity is what they have, not quality.
I think they're supremely confident.
Oh, they are
Americans.
confident. Doesn't make it quality, though, does it?
I've mentioned this before. Doing loads of corporate stuff that I do. The Americans are always so good. The average American exec, so much better than than Colin from
Dagenham.
From Dagenham, yeah, who might be just one step away from being the CEO, but
Yes.
he's absolutely shit on camera.
Well, you say that, but then again, he doesn't have to do a lot of public speaking, and it's more of an administrative role, really, for Colin, I think.
Yeah. I take your point, actually. I was in Miami a number of years ago, and their tramps could sell you something. They could hold you in conversation. You'd be, well, of course I'll
Their
buy.
tramps are better than our CEOs. I mean, come on.
They could be our CEO. They are the CEOs of our country's future.
Okay, listen, Brexit. Let me tell you, I've been on the streets 14 years. I got no goddamn idea, but I tell you how to handle the whole.
You're only a bum. What do you know?
Yeah, I know everything.
You're only as good as the bum you know.
Yeah, so I think we should definitely do an American one.
Well, I think
That'd
we've
be
got three
good.
heartily American accents
Yeah.
straight away.
But if we dressed American and
Are you saying
and
that
just got immersed into the whole kind of imagining.
we've got them saying completely. How do I dress American? What should I wear to be that way? Is
some
it
sort
like
of-
really big collars or something? Plaid?
You need a base plaid, probably.
Plaid shorts.
Baseball cap.
something on the head, definitely.
Definitely something on the head.
With all this hair?
Oh, yeah.
I'd look like
You could have a gun, like a gun shirt or something.
gun shirt. Oh, actually, I tell you, Stockbridge. Went to Stockbridge for a cycle ride a couple of years ago, and lots and lots of Americans go down there for the fly fishing season, the mayfly, and every single one of them looked like your stereotypical John Goodman in a film about shooting or killing animals. They were really, really loud. In the smallest restaurants, this booming voice. Gee, I'll have one of those.
Yeah, they're very
And they're also from the West Country.
farmers.
Fire Pakistan, weirdly. Which is, odd.
It's just the joke's on us.
Where's your favourite place around here, Simon? What's your have you got an establishment?
Aside from here, you mean?
East or west?
Around here.
Yeah,
I like
just
that
really
chair
just
the most.
this chair, to be honest. My favourite place around here.
Your go-to place.
Well, I love see, things have changed. Things have changed since I were a lad. I love Marnie's pub. I've seen you in Marnie's, I believe.
Yeah.
Barely see him out of Marnie's.
Any day
See
of the
him
week.
out of Marnie's. I love Marnie's. I love walking down by the river. Not that I do that very much. I really only walk under duress, to be honest. But
Don't you sling a guitar on your back and just sort of go strolling down there looking?
yeah,
Strolling minstrel.
normally,
Yeah.
I just kind of
Hey, look.
Hey, look. Do you know World Cup High? Yeah. Because
One day I'll meet you and we'll sing it, and that will be very, very
it'll be
embarrassing.
very, very embarrassing.
Yeah, the river is great.
The river's great. I mean, they've got some, nice coffee shops.
Yep.
Um,
But nobody's name checked a pub before, so that's good.
okay.
One of the guys that helped us out in the first one, Steph, is the barman at Marnie's.
Yeah.
And he's a very amusing guy, an observer of people, and quite a raconteur in his own way. Really good.
Marnie's can be great. I think that Marnie's could be even better if it worked out how to
Sweep up
have
occasionally.
and have a bigger bar. Even though they've got this massive area out in the garden area now, it still doesn't seem to work as a bar because all the beer's still behind the little bar, and they have to. There's always some kind of a sort of a bottleneck.
But some of the best pubs in the world are kind of just a hatch. That there's a place down at Swanage, Worth Matravers, called the something and Compass, Square and
We
Compass.
mentioned Swanage.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That was next to Vonage, wasn't it?
Vonage,
is
yeah.
obviously in the Esher.
in Esher.
In the ether.
I never knew Swanage was in Esher.
It's weird.
It's nuts.
Not a lot of people know that.
No,
It's
very
a
few.
very, yeah.
But I tell you what, it's going to make my holidays a lot easier to get to.
Yeah, very popular pub, Worth Matravers on the coast near Swanage. Shed loads of people go there every year, every summer. It's packed, and you go and look for the bar, and it's just effectively a doorway with a wooden kind of
Hatch.
and they just serve ale from casks, and when you say
Well, maybe they've just worked out how to serve it quicker.
what's on the lunch menu, and they say pasty and pie.
There you go, job done.
Great.
That's it. Make it
That's what you
simple.
want. That's what you want.
I mean, I've got to say, the George and Dragon in Thames Ditton now is probably and has been for years my favourite pub. But at the moment, because Duncan is a new guy from Gloucester, he's taken it over, and a nicer landlord you could not get.
And there's lots of tellies in there, so you probably like that for the rugby.
Yeah, it's all right. That's a bit by the by. That's great for the rugby, but obviously on a Friday night when it is the village pub, I don't really think anyone's really paying any attention to the tellies. They're all basically talking shit,
Yeah, that's
which is
great.
what Friday nights are all about.
Bunkum.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
absolutely.
You'd get a whole lot of bunkum out of the George on a Friday night.
They had a ukulele night in there a few months ago, and I've been to a couple of those. They're brilliant.
They are.
Have you ever seen that?
I've played a ukulele. I've even thought about buying a ukulele.
Then
I haven't quite gone that far.
go down to
I've
the
got
George.
two.
Have you? No, you haven't.
I've got two.
Is it Thursday night or Friday night? It's a Friday night. It does it sometimes, doesn't it?
I don't know whether they still do it, but the night we went down there, it was packed, and it's just so funny because half of the people in there are there out of pure curiosity,
Yeah.
and they don't have a musical bone in their body, but they get given a ukulele with little spots on the coloured dots.
So everyone has to play.
Everyone has to play.
It is like
I
watching
see.
infants learn a new trick, and they walk out of there. Almost everyone walks out of there acting and looking like George Formby.
How did the ukulele become so popular?
Simplicity.
Because it's
Simplicity. Okay.
and size. You can fit one in your pocket.
And they're cheap, I guess, to buy.
And if you've got little hands, you can
Yes.
still work them.
Oh yeah,
You'd struggle.
I would struggle.
Got big hands.
All four strings in one.
Big hands at Christmas.
Big hands.
Yeah,
Size of his hands. Oh, blimey, I tell you what. I get many of them to the pound. I'll tell you.
So
Make a widow weep.
shaking hands with you is like being enveloped in a bunch of bananas.
There you go. And relax. I'm not conscious of them at all.
Yeah, and I think the ukulele thing is when a whole room of 30, 40, 50 ukuleles is all roughly playing the same thing, the general ambience and the noise is in the right key. So everyone thinks that they're playing
Yeah,
the right song.
Right, so yeah.
Normally all the neighbours really come round at that point and scream at the barman to stop this racket.
It is noisy. It really is noisy.
No, I'm with you. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and especially on ukulele night. I mean, it's one of the things when they had the jazz night. That was one of the things I couldn't really tolerate. Not that I don't necessarily like jazz, but it's just it's not really a pub vibe. But the ukulele was, if you got loads of people laughing that's a pub vibe. So I think they did a good job there.
Do you think there could be more around here?
What, more ukuleles?
No, I think we've probably
Too many.
probably reached the ukulele limit, haven't we? I would have said. I mean,
If you're going to open something, a vanity business of some sort, what would you do?
Well, I'm thinking of ukuleles now.
It's been done.
Yeah, no, I won't be doing that.
I think very much a poetry coffee shop, really, where you can only get a cup of coffee if you've written a poem.
And wearing a black polo neck.
Wearing a black polo neck.
Yeah, you get a lot of people in there.
We've all written poems.
I'm actually thinking of going there.
Have you written poems?
I think everyone has, haven't they?
I guess so.
Everyone's squeezed a poem out at some point in their life.
Yes. Yeah, I guess so.
Not a limerick.
Well, no, but World Cup High. I mean, you could argue
Well,
that.
that's a string
lyrics,
of poems.
you could argue that was a poem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so. Not really, to be honest. I don't really like poetry. Is that sort of thing to say?
It always comes across as pretentious.
Yeah, I don't like Shakespeare,
No.
but that's going to upset the thesp in the corner.
Oh, my dear, but how can it possibly be the bard? It's the bard. I mean, surely, without the bard, where would we be?
Well, I think you don't understand what you're saying.
I thought that, John Cleese once said that he thought it was panto. It was all panto. And he's quite right, I think. I just don't get it. I don't get the... What was it? What's the meter? The
Iambic pentameter.
Please explain that.
Iambic pentameter, oh my goodness, is...
How long have you got?
It's 5... Oh, how many beats is it?
Do you know what this is? Have you ever heard this?
No idea.
Listen, this is good.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the... See, I don't even know.
But it's a rhythm, basically.
It's a
isn't it?
rhythm. Well, it's a number of syllables per line. You see, I should really know this. And there's people now, if anybody is listening to this, screaming, going, it's 10, whatever it is, beats to the...
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thing is, I think possibly if I knew that, I'd actually want to read it more. If I knew there was a code behind it, I think I'd want to read it
Well,
more.
it's that a lot of it's written in verse, and it's just the amount of beats in the lines of the verse. And there are all sorts of rules, like you should, because of course it's written in verse, but people tend to, when actors, especially when they read it, tend to end the sense of the line at the end of the first line rather than following the whole sentence. And that's something you have to kind of drum into students.
Yeah.
So instead of going to be or not to be, that is the question. So you have to go to be or not to be. That is the question. Do you see what I mean? You have to carry it on as if you're going to finish the whole sentence, and they often don't do that.
And I think it sounds to me like if I understood even a bit of that, then my appreciation of it might have been, improved over the years.
But I think
I'm not sure that's true though. And also, I don't know. I mean, there were, in the old days, the kind of the great Oliviers and all of that, and Ralph Richardson, they had those beautiful voices that were just sort of,
They did.
enunciated in a way, but it became more like, I don't know. You lost the sense of a lot of what of what it was saying. I went to see Irish actor Andrew Cross do Hamlet. Andrew Cross, who's the priest now in Fleabag.
Oh right,
I think his name's Andrew Cross.
Moriarty. He was Moriarty in
Was he?
Sherlock as
Okay.
well, wasn't he?
Very possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, he was fantastic. But his was very naturalistic. His reading of Hamlet was very, it wasn't, you weren't aware that he was reading,
Shakespearean.
Yeah, he was Shakespearean, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to use our imaginations as much anyway. I think in Shakespeare's time, that was actually all they had was that medium. Whereas now we've got film. I can't go to a theatre now because
I think
just it.
You can't go to a theatre. You can't go to a theatre.
I think.
No, you remember that thing that happened last time? I can't go in them anywhere.
I think generally it's awful. I know it's a terrible thing to say.
Well, no, it's not a terrible thing to say. A lot of it is awful. I mean, I'm certainly not going to sit here and go, "Oh, theatre, darling, it's marvellous," because a lot of it is real rubbish.
Well, I don't know. It's not even that. It's just that there's so many. It's so much easier now to watch an absolute, blockbuster or whatever it may be on TV in your room. TVs are so good. The surround sound, the whole, and a cinema. It's
Yeah, you've got.
I don't. Whereas when I was, I did love the theatre, and when I.
And may I say, the theatre loved you.
I thought it did.
It very much did. It was very much a mutual thing. Sorry, go on.
But it was so I did the Edinburgh Festival and absolutely loved every minute of doing that and watching and going to other things. But maybe that was youth, and now I've just become jaded and just think I can't imagine listening to you any longer. I'm just going to go and put my headphones on and watch, Avengers.
But Game of Thrones, I think, will be studied like Shakespeare. I think there's a good possibility that people will be doing degrees in Game of Thrones.
I don't think it's got the depth of Shakespeare.
They already are.
Just because of the writing and the scripting and the performances and all of the other art that goes on to bring that type of thing to us. The CGI, the lighting, the camera work, everything about it is just second to none, isn't it?
What happens though?
And then somebody says, "Oh, do you want to go to the theatre to see?"
Yeah,
No, Game of
Blood
Thrones
Brothers.
is on. Game of Thrones is on. Sorry.
Should we go and see Cats at the theatre? What? Cats?
Well, no, I wouldn't go and see Cat. But I mean, but that's a musical. But I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Lee, pick him up on that one. That's just not right.
You've never seen it.
I've never seen. I feel like this is one of those men's groups where you just go and you go.
Yeah, my name's Simon.
My name's Simon, and I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
No, never seen it. Well, actually, that's not true. I watched the first episode about 3 times, and I just couldn't get on with it.
Yeah, you have to do that. You have to get over that first
It's the
3 episodes.
dragons. I'm sorry, but it's the dragons thing I can't get over. I mean,
But you
I
haven't
love a
even
bit
seen
of
the
fantasy as much
dragons.
as the next man.
But you haven't even seen the dragons in the first
I
3
know,
episodes.
but I knew they were there because of the trailers.
They were eggs.
Someone had said to him there was a dragon in it. That was it.
eggs. They were eggs.
They were
in the
just
first
3 eggs.
episode.
I didn't want to see it. I would sort of I'd become Lord of the Rings and Harry Pottered out. And when Game of Thrones came along, I just thought, oh my God, this is just another load of dwarves and this sort of thing, and it's just fantasy crap. And I
So Snow White, you never did either. Then? No.
I did do Snow White, but that's another story. But I didn't get it, and I just thought and Sarah would say, "Oh, everyone said it's fantastic." I say, "Well, what do you know? What do they know?" And I just dug my heels in, and then of course Sarah got it out on a box set, and I was sort of like not cooking, but washing up or whatever, and looking over and I'm really starting to get into it.
Yeah.
And then I've got the dilemma of saying, "Can I watch, please?"
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did get into
It's
it.
worth it. One day, when you have
One
time.
day.
When you
One
have
day.
time.
Yes.
You
When I've stopped watching Shakespeare.
Yes.
Because to be honest, that's what I do. I just go home and read Shakespeare.
And writing songs.
And write songs and poetry. Because that's what actors do. Do you know? And we try on different pairs of tights as well, just to sort of find some, because it's very difficult to find a pair of tights that really fit.
Oh yes, and you're very, very apt at wearing tights, if I remember rightly. Or onesies,
Yes.
jumpsuits.
Yeah.
that was a sight to behold.
My onesies are very,
One that you'll get one day. I'm sure he'll put it out on his show reel.
When I asked you to, come on down, did anything pop into your head? You think, right, I'm going to use this as a platform to talk about.
Oh yeah, 2,000 things.
Did
Only
you?
2,000
Did you?
things.
Did things start popping into your head?
No, but I tell you, it was funny. I was listening to the radio a lot more intently, thinking, "Oh gosh, someone give me something," And I was listening on the radio, but the only thing on the radio at the moment is just all politics, and that's just that's over that at the moment.
Well, a friend of mine that was on last week said, "Should I just pick up the local newspaper and have a look through?" And I said, "Well, no, not really, because things tend to kind of just flow, and you don't need to kind of pick up on."
Yeah, you can do that next time.
Could do. Well, the next, I think the American one is going to be the next one, and a book club. You suggested a book club, didn't you? Get the book club people in.
Get the book club.
I'm in a men's book club.
Well, you might have to sit here because
In fact, we have
I didn't know
been.
they were categorised.
Can I just say, my men's book club, or the book club, what I am in, we've been on Radio 4 about 3 or 4 times on Book of the Week, or whatever it's called, a good read or something, because there aren't many men's book, and they're desperate for audience members. So you just come and you listen to whichever author they have in. And
Ironically, was that on Woman's Hour?
no, it's James Naughty who presents it.
And what do? You have? Oh, I think I've heard this. It's on Radio 4, isn't it? When somebody comes and
Yeah, so they have
and you critique it.
Yes, so they tell you the book's going to be whatever it is, and then they have the author in, and then they have an invited audience.
Isn't that tricky with the author there?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose if you don't like the book, maybe.
Or if you don't get it.
Yeah.
I think I have heard that, and there's been an author there.
If you don't, they just edit it out, I think.
Yeah. Or if it's really good and they say, "What do you mean you don't get it? What are you, a moron?"
Yeah.
So yeah, a book club one would be good, but you'd probably have to chair it because I don't read.
Well,
you
because
not
he
read?
understands Shakespeare so well.
Why
because
do
he's got
you not read? So you don't go to the theatre, you don't read. What do you do? Watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, it makes me look really shallow, doesn't it? Suddenly.
No.
So yeah, it is because I probably am. No, I think it's probably my upbringing. I wasn't from a literary or theatrical family.
You brought up in the 80s.
Well, neither was I.
And it was in Croydon.
Oh, well, that'll explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the C word. That's the
Croydon.
end of it.
C-bomb.
Croydon, where they have the MRI of shame. In Croydon. Did you know this?
What's this? An MRI scanner that doesn't work, or
No, it's when you can't cope with the proper MRI, which I couldn't. I had to have an MRI 2 or 3 years ago done on my neck, I think it was, and so they put you in. Have you ever had an MRI?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Okay, see, you succeeded. See, Chris would have gone, yeah, it's all right, MRI, mate. Do it.
No problem.
Don't care, no problem.
massive rotating magnet.
Well, it doesn't rotate. I don't know what the magnet does, but you're in a tube. You're in a
Yeah.
very small tube, and,
Yeah.
and I thought I'd be fine. And they put me down. They put your little collar on, and then they reverse you into this tube. And I got halfway in this tube, and I went, "Oh no, sorry, I can't do it. Sorry, I can't do it."
Claustrophobic, yeah.
Yeah. And they let me out again. They went, "It's fine. Have another go." I was like, "Oh." So I went back in again and couldn't do it.
Are they making signs at the glass?
Yeah, going, "We've got another one, Croydon, love." Yeah, so they send you to the MRI of shame, which is in Croydon, which is an open-sided MRI machine.
So why don't they make those anyway?
And it's lovely. It's surrounded by fields. There's little sheep running around,
So
small
it's for
children.
MRI for the faint-hearted.
It is.
And the
But why would you have the other one if you've got a nicer one?
Well, there is that. That would be my question, Chris.
I mean, it's made.
Why aren't they
possibly
everywhere?
It's a torture.
Why don't they make them open-sided
Yeah.
at all points?
Unless the MRI of shame actually doesn't work. And then they just make it up anyway. Yeah, he's got a brain tumour. Cut his fucking head off.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah, was the diagnosis?
I've been getting a lot of really bad headaches lately. It's weird.
What's that thing called where they put the tube right down inside your stomach?
That's called an arthroscopy. No, it's not an endoscopy.
Endoscopy. I had to do one of those.
Oh my God!
And as you know, I talk quite a lot. That was a difficult one, and it's about that long, and it's probably so thick, and you don't think any of it until they start to put it down your throat.
It's kind of like that kind of girth, isn't it?
Probably. And and they poked it down there, and they're having a look around and everything else, and they're always asking you questions like you can answer. You got this thing in it. Are you okay? It was impossible. And then, of course, they then try and tell you what they're going to do, which was they're going to take a little snip of something inside. They say, it won't hurt. And they take a snip. Of course it hurts, but you can't say. That's why they say it doesn't hurt, because no one can shout ouch with this great big thing in their throat.
What's the best thing that's happened to you this year, Simon?
Apart from this, if I can include the tail end of last year,
He always has to
Can I do that?
Is this when you were on?
just stick within the
did a-
parameters.
Were you on stage with Rick Astley doing something?
I might have been.
What was that about?
I might have played at the O2 in
You
front
didn't.
of
No way.
18 whatever thousand people. I might have done that. Yeah.
18,000 people.
Yeah. It's no
Who were
big
they
deal.
there to see?
It's just another day. Me,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah, of course.
No, it was yes, because I do very occasionally play with Mr. Astley, not in that way, musically, and anyway, he was doing it. So it was Chris Evans' Children in Need, big party, end of year, and we were the Luddites, which is the band that I play in with Rick. Rick said, "Do you want to come and do a couple of songs?" And in fact, Graham, the guitarist, didn't want to in the end. So, of course, I have no shame. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So so I went out at the end and I played "Highway to Hell" with Rick on drums and singing, and also
That's rocking.
Charlene
Theron?
from Texas.
Texas, yeah.
She was yeah, that was great.
So 2 numbers. Or more.
I did 2 numbers. I did Highway to Hell on the bass, which is great because you only come in on the chorus as well, so you only have to play half a song. So and then I also played acoustic on Merry Christmas Everybody, but I'm pretty sure they turned me down and off because I just said, look,
Oh, I don't think so. Don't do yourself down. I think you're probably there all the way
but it was
through.
great. It was really good. It was fun.
Was that the biggest audience you've stepped out in front of?
For sure.
Could you see all of them?
You can see an awful lot. Yeah, I mean, I made a point of kind of making sure I looked out.
Counting them.
I just went, darlings, it's me. No, obviously, no one's there looking at me, but it was great. It was great. There was a lot of people.
They would have done if you'd have waved more.
If I'd have waved more. Yeah.
You should have. I mean, missing a trick there because you could have just got a bit of playing.
Tell you what, there was though. I was doing a bit of that rocking thing with Adam, the guitarist.
Oh yeah.
And we were, that sort of, facing each other.
What, status quo?
Yeah, a little bit status quo. And we were quite near the front of the stage, and they had these fire flamethrowers.
Christ.
And they suddenly went off, and we were both like, shit. I mean, you could really feel the heat, man.
Didn't do your eyebrows.
Didn't do my eyebrows any good at all.
That's why the beard's gone.
Yeah.
That's quite cool, though, isn't it? Pyrotechnics. Almost stumbling into the pyrotechnics.
Almost
stumbling into the pyrotechnics.
In front of 18,000 people at the O2.
Third degree burns at the O2.
That would have made...
To today,
That would have definitely made the papers.
the next voice actor was incinerated on the stage.
Best.
Will you come back? Will you do another one, boys?
Oh yeah, especially the American one when we got to dress up as Texans.
Can you do an American accent?
I thought I was.
I think he's already given his American, haven't he? I thought.
God.
Yeah.
New York, where do you want to go?
Listen.
You could do it.
Yeah.
So would you come back?
Certainly.
That would be nice if you did.
Certainly. It's been fun.
It'd be a delight.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You can shoehorn another 18,000
Thank you for
in
having
there
us.
at some point.
Yeah. Obviously, it depends. I might be busy playing the O2. It depends, I'd have to speak to my management.
Oh, just get on the phone to Chris Evans, see what he's doing at the moment. See if he'll allow you to go out on your own again.
You'd come back, Chris, wouldn't you?
No, not with him. Look at the name dropping. It's just right. I've got so much to do. Yeah, of course I will. It'd be great fun. I've enjoyed this day. No, this hour.
Goes quick, doesn't it?
It does go very quick.
It does.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
See you.